There you are. Finally. I thought you'd never arrive. What's on my mind? I'll tell you what's on my mind. Vagabonds are on my mind. Bandits. There they are, eating our food, wearing our clothes. For 4 seasons we've been banished to this festering mud pile. And to add insult to injury, those brazen scallywags have set up camp right on our doorstep. This ends today. They're laughing at us and mocking me. Well, I may not know war, but I know coin. And now I have access to it, I will become an unstoppable force in this region. You mark my words, listener. Do you know what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Well, you're about to find out. For today are the final days of us being mocked and shamed in these cursed lands. Last season, just as we were egregiously attacked, we completed the construction of the trading post. Now that I have gold in the treasury, I'm going to turn that hard, beautiful substance into retribution. Are you ready to follow me? The bandits came through here last time like a hurricane, smashing and breaking everything as they went, with no regard for honour. Almost all of our houses were demolished, so I need to repair those and everything else that we require in order to survive. For I don't think the villagers would appreciate if I sent them off on a killing spree if they had nothing to come back to. They destroyed everything, but as you can see, rebuilding things encourages people to migrate back into the region. I actually think that the cycle of destruction and rebuilding is fairly well balanced in my opinion. It doesn't take very long to rebuild things, and there's not much of a penalty if you do get destroyed. You can bounce back. Luckily the trading post itself didn't get destroyed, so that's still working and I'm still making a little bit of profit here and there. Not a lot, it's only planks still that I'm selling, but it's just enough, I think. It's slightly risky at this point, but I don't want to enable these bandits to regroup. I don't want to give them any time to do it, and although I've only got 7 men available to me, because those are all of the spears that I have available at the moment, I'm going to muster them and I'm going to march straight over to those camps because they literally are on my doorstep. It's quite an insult, isn't it, really? And luckily it's just a camp, there's no defence. And I'll get back some of the things that they stole from me, including some money. More than that though, it increases the amount of regional influence that you get, which is going to be really important, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. This other camp though, they've spotted me and they're not happy. 7 men to 3, I'll take those odds. Success. Now I just need to trot down this road and destroy that camp. More spoils of war, but more than that, winning a battle gives you a lot of regional influence. And if I zoom out, we have 1,000 regional influence, and each one of these regions costs 1,000 to claim. You can see that some of the regions have icons for bandits that have got camps set up in them. As long as those camps are there, you will have your supplies stolen. This is what I've discovered. So my aim should be to get rid of all of the camps so that I don't have a deficit any longer in my supplies. But now that I've got 1,000 regional influence, I'm also able to buy a region. So here's one. Scharspitz, I think it's pronounced. That's the central region, occupies the center of the map, and what I would like to do is, you see the river that runs through the middle of the map? I would like to own all of the regions that are on my side of the river. So I'm going to start with claiming or laying a claim to Schatzbitz. And hopefully subsequent battles with these bandits should give me enough influence so that I can start buying up the rest of the regions. So if I own as many regions as I can, that reduces the amount of times that the bandits will come and attack me. But we've got winter to get through first, so let's get on with the busy work of tidying up the town. And while I'm doing that, I'll tell you about what's going on with the villagers that live here. We've driven off the raiders. The fields are ours again. Now comes the harder task. Not to bleed, but to build. I've gathered you all here because now is the time to speak. I want to hear your suggestions, and from that we will make a plan. The hall was not a hall at all, just a barn with rafters swept clear and straw pushed into the corners. Still, the people crammed in as though it were a palace chamber. Henrik, the coop keeper, sat near the front, his spear across his knees like a badge of office. And behind him, a dozen farmers and craftsmen muttered amongst themselves. I stood at the head to gain their attention, and Squire Coleman at my side, his arms folded, scowling at the noise. The first hand shot up. It was Marta. She was a midwife. "A bigger granary, my lord. We don't store half what we reap, and the children are hungry." Another voice, young Thomas, barely grown, who'd already lost 2 brothers to the raids. "A wall, my lord. Wood, stone, mud, I care not. Better to die behind it than in the fields." There was a low mumble as the villagers dissolved into discussions between themselves about what should and shouldn't be done. I looked on in fascination until eventually Henrik rose slowly, his joints creaking louder than the crowd. "A market, my lord. May I suggest we build a market? Let men bring their wares, let coin change hands. Chickens can't pay tithes, but they can buy salt, and salt can keep us alive." The crowd broke into a soft laughter. I think it was the first time that I'd heard that noise since we arrived here, and it warmed my heart. Coleman leaned into my ear and said something that only I could hear. "All wise words, my lord, but if you ask me, a tavern wouldn't go amiss." Even I gave a chuckle to that. "We will do it all," I said, "and also rid the entire region of these damn pests." And that's what I'm going to do now. So, winter has finally lifted, and we have a somewhat reasonable stockpile of weapons and some shields. So I'm going to muster some pole arms, 16 of them, and I'm also going to muster as many bowmen as I possibly can, 26, which is all of the bows that I've actually made within the town myself. At some point I'll start selling them, but for now I'm going to use them in a warfare. I want to get through these skirmish battles, if you like, as quickly as possible. I don't want to give the bandits time to keep picking me off, pecking me to death, one peck at a time. So I'm going to just take this opportunity now and run over here. I'm going to destroy this first camp. I don't know what kind of resistance I'm going to run into, but we will find out. They're running out to meet me. There's 18 of them as usual. I tried to be strategic about it if I can, but they've gone straight for my archers. Smart, that was smart. Alright, what I needed to do was slow down a bit. I was a little bit gung-ho there, but they've broke my archers, but my spearmen have come at them from behind. I don't know if that's going to help. Yes, another victory. Right, what I need to do now is take these men, run them over that bridge there, and if I go up and I can just demolish their camp. So I got a little bit of regional influence from the battle, and I've got some gold from the spoils of the war here. And this is going to be my strategy, I think. I'm going to run these guys back to town because I want to preserve my townspeople. I don't really want to get them involved in battles if I can help it. Now that I have actual treasury gold, and that's coming from pillaging those camps, I'm going to be able to buy or hire mercenaries. These guys come in a range of different attributes, and I haven't played around with the archers all that much. I think just for these camps that are dotted around, this is going to be more than enough. So I'm going to take one division of those guys, and they'll spawn at the edge of the map somewhere. Where are they? There they are. And if I just highlight them, and then I can run those over to the camps, and they will act in exactly the same way as my own troops do. Oh, here we go. They've run out to meet them in this field. Yeah, we made short work of that, didn't we? So I'm going to get the same kind of regional influence, and I will be able to take the spoils of war and add to my treasury. So that was 201 gold. These guys only cost like 45 gold, so I'll be able to buy another one of these once they run out. I can keep them around, but they cost the same amount every single month. And I'm not going to need them for every single month, only for the individual battles that I want. So for the time being, I'm just going to run these around and mop up the rest of the camps here, and then I should have enough. Oh, I do have 1,100 regional influence. So I'm going to be able to buy my next territory. Which one shall it be? I would like to buy the one in the middle, but I think what I'll do is I'll keep going around the edge here, and then I'll save the middle section for last. So I'm going to get this Clanio, I think it's pronounced. And now I can continue on my own skirmish raids and mop up any remnants using these mercenaries that I've just hired. The good thing about the mercenaries is if I ever felt like I was being outnumbered, I can quickly muster my own troops from town, and I can use those to bolster numbers. Sometimes there are raids that come in that have a lot of mercenaries. I mean a lot of bandits. And I would be outnumbered if it was just these hired mercenaries or just my own people, but together it should be enough to hold them back. Well, that's the theory anyway. They're smarter than they first appear as well, the bandits. They do go after the weaker members, like they're going straight for my archers there. But I've trapped them here with these hired mercenaries on this little shore of this little pond. Feels good to be winning. If I bring my archers in a little bit, I don't know if they actually contribute to a melee fight. I haven't been able to work it out how exactly to use them to the best of their ability. I was thinking maybe I could use the mana to kind of create a kill zone around a bridge, but I haven't experimented with that yet. That would be a tactic, I think. They like to hide in the forest, don't they? Now, the region is finally, for the first time, secure. I have dominion over the entire region, and I have a strategy now so that I can hold back any further attacks. I really can start to develop and think about building rather than just surviving. It's quite refreshing to be able to think about building rather than just surviving and fending off the bandits all the time. I'm glad that I've finally figured out how to use the economy in order to create a protective barrier around myself. I'm still reeling a little bit from the remnants of the last attacks though, but as soon as I'm over that and get my internal logistics sorted out, I should be well on the way to thinking about how I can expand and grow things. I'm really looking forward to thinking about actually designing a village and setting up something that looks nice. This to me is so basic, and it's really just like a starting settlement really. I still have not out of the ground. I had to rebuild the trading post slightly as well. Nothing major, but for some reason it got destroyed and then it wasn't attached to the road anymore. One of those early access bugs, I think, and I just had to rebuild it. The good thing was all of the trade routes and everything all remained set up the way that I'd set them up, so it didn't affect anything. I'm looking to see what things that I can make and what things that I can start selling and start really making some money. So I've got some sheep and I'm definitely making some wool, so I'm going to sell that. And I've also got a weaver's shop, so I'm going to start selling some of that linen, because I'm also got some flax in storage. I hadn't realised this before, but I'm actually in a really good region here. I think that was a bit of a luck of the draw thing, because the region that I'm in has really good farming ability. Everything grows really well here. It's the best region on the entire map. I think I lucked out on that one. I didn't even realise it at the time. Just like I'm not realising at this moment here that I don't have enough stone, and I'm going to have to go back to the trade route and start importing stone again. But as you can see, I've got so much flax in the fields, it's actually getting soaked because of the weather. I'd like to get the church and manor up and running so that I can increase my happiness and start getting some new people in. I think I'm going to start expanding the individual housing plots here, and rather than building new houses everywhere and actually sprawling, I'm going to densify. What is it? Do more with less. But in order to encourage people to actually come, I need to get the happiness up. And one of the reasons that the happiness is so low at the minute is because there's loads of dead bodies everywhere and they can't get buried. So I really need to sort this church and manor situation out. And the problem with it is that I don't have the stone, and you can find that in here in this question mark. It says not enough stone. So let's go over to the trading post and have a look at that. I can't remember why I turned that off. I think it's just because I didn't want to spend the money on it. There we go. It instantly starts spending. Something else that I'm realising is that these hitching posts are actually really important to the speed in which you produce materials. So they're responsible for, they're basically transporters, and they're responsible for moving materials from the fields to the warehouses. So So you start off with just one of those, and you need regional influence in order to upgrade it, but I'm going to add more of those in. That is once I've sorted all of my problems out. I love seeing that money going up out of the trade post. Still only got 12 stone at the minute, and I need 15 as a minimum, I think, in order to get the church up and running. While I'm waiting for that stone to import, I'm going to encourage them to start repairing the other buildings by changing their priority order. So I'm going to get some of these upgraded so that they can hold more villagers. And that way, by the time that their happiness is over 50%, the houses should be built, and then I should be able to start receiving some new villagers. Here's a question for the commenters amongst you. Does the amount of villagers that are in the house affect how much the burgage plots produce? So if the burgage plot is producing vegetables, does having more people living there produce more vegetables? I don't know the answer to that. Please sound off in the comments if you know the answer to that. That'd be nice. I wonder if my weaver is... Oh no, there's... Okay, I don't know why that happened, but I've got a weaver now working. Hopefully I can start making some money out of that as well. Doing that micromanagement of the villagers' individual job roles is really important, I've found, because sometimes they get stuck doing something that they're not supposed to do or you don't want them to do. So there's a lot of clicking around from building to building, making sure that it's got the right amount of people in there that you want. Ideally, they're all full, but I'm not there yet, so I'm still having to manage them on an individual basis. And something that I am also having to do is make sure that I'm keeping on top of these bandits. So until I own all of the regions, I'm going to continuously get these camps spawn in. And here's another one quite close to my regions in that centre. I noticed the notification straight away, and I am going to destroy them straight away. Sticking to my strategy, I'm going to hire a mercenary band. I think the Wayward Sons, 45 gold. There's an archer. Oh no, they're both archers. Local thugs. There's only one of those. They're cheap, 15 gold. I think I'll do that. And then I can add my own guys to the mix as well, and then it'll be fine. Alright boys, let's go. Winter's coming. If I get them to meet up and form a complete troop, that way they can work as one. Easy peasy. The air in the settlement had changed. Where once every crack of a branch set hearts racing, now the days carried a calmer rhythm. People walked with shoulders less hunched, laughter occasionally spilling from doorways where silence once ruled. Children chased one another between the half-built houses, their games no longer hushed by worried parents. Even the animals seemed less skittish, as if they too sensed the danger had passed. For the first time in 4 seasons, I think I even heard somebody whistling in the settlement. A simple tune, one that carried across the yard like a promise that life here could be more than just survival. Even Coleman seemed less anxious, his eyes wandering more often towards the clearing by the road, as though he could already see a tavern rising there. He spoke of it often, imagining the laughter, the warmth of a fire, and a place where mugs clinked instead of swords. I had not promised it, I must say that, nor had any plans yet been drawn, but he carried the thought as though it were certain. Perhaps hope alone is enough to ease a restless spirit. Now that I'm not being ransacked and having my stores stolen from, the winters seem less harsh. I feel like I can actually get something done, like build the church, for example. Now that's finished. And I've got multiple people working in the storehouses. Still need to get this manor sorted, but that'll come in time. The only thing the manor isn't doing for me right now is putting gold from the regional influence and collecting via the trade route into the treasury. As far as I can understand, that's what the manor does actually. It converts regional influence directly into treasury gold. Now I've got a decent amount of sheep as well, so I think at some point I should start selling some of the sheep that I'm making. Breeding. The populace happiness is still quite low, and that said it was something to do with the taxation level. I'm not quite sure what that's about. Last month it said it was 16. I really don't know what that's about. Until I build that manor, I'm not going to be able to figure it out. I'm just looking through what the progression path looks like for upgrading the buildings, and the church, it says that I need tiles for the roof. I can produce those because I've got clay, but I'm not quite at that point yet. I feel like I'm very, very close to it. I still need to sort out some of the issues that have been caused by the bandits, like the market here isn't functioning as intended. I don't know what's going wrong with it, but I'm going to destroy it and then I'm going to rebuild it. For some reason, despite having people working in the storehouses and the granary, they just weren't building new market stalls. I think that was an early access issue. Alright, we're building new markets, so hopefully that will solve the problem. And yes, straight away they're building. Brilliant. I'm pretty sure that the market was having an impact on the happiness of the plots, of the housing plots, because they were complaining that they weren't getting the availability of goods or food that they wanted, but now it looks like they are. So hopefully that overall happiness will go up as well. It's so refreshing to be able to sit back here and with an overview of everything that's functioning and not have the looming threat of it all being destroyed and having to start all over again. I can just take it in for a moment. I haven't been able to do that before. My weaver is making the use of flax and the wool, so I should be able to go and make sure that I can even export bows, excess bows that I'm making now as well. Brilliant. I should make sure that I do have all of the spears and shields that I require. But I'm going to make some money now. I'm going to really try to focus on that. I'm glad I checked that actually, because I had stopped importing spears, so I've only got 20 available to me, which is fine. It's been fine so far. But I would like to have 30 spears in hand and also 30 spears in reserve just in case. I've had to delete the manor. I don't know what was going wrong with it. For some reason it just would not build, even though I had all of the resources available to me. So I'm just going to ignore that for a moment. I'm not quite sure what's going wrong. I think it might be an early access thing. But look, my happiness is up now, so I should start getting some immigration in. I want to increase my population quickly so that I can start really ramping up my production and get all of the work slots filled in all of the different buildings and whatnot. Here we go again. More bandits have arrived in one of those regions that I don't own. Oh, they're on top of a little peninsula there. That's cool. I quite like that as a spot where you could put a settlement actually. That's quite nice. It's a natural defense because no one can approach you from this side, right? So I have to think about that. Anyway, let's stick to the plan and let's hire some mercenaries. Who have I got available? It looks like the Wayward Sons again for 45, but they're all archers, and I'm going to need some melee in here. So a flock of crazy geese it is for 90. Come on, boys, let's see what you can do. Here's the crazy geese coming in now. They're quite far away. I hope I manage to get to where they need to be before the month is over. Otherwise I'll be paying twice. Ooh, I've cut it very fine. I think I'm going to disband them before I have to pay for them again. That's fine. If I use my militia now and then I can go over and claim the camp, we don't have to do the fighting, but we get to get all the glory. I've earned enough regional influence again from those fights that I can now get my my third territory, and it's Tausenbruck this time, which is that central one. Which means that when I claim that, I'll own half of the map. Oh, look, it's high summer now. I should be getting all the yield of my crops at this point, I think. But let's finally put that manor back in so I can actually look at what's going on with that tax situation. And I can continue to upgrade the rest of the houses, and I've got good happiness and I've got a good amount of other resources. But I think what I need to do also is make sure that I've got more than enough food. Adding more people in is going to put more pressure on the food, so I want to just make sure that I don't get caught out and end up starving everybody. So I've just gone ahead and built a large burgage plot there with a very large back garden. And I think what I'll do is I'll fill it with vegetables when it's built. Thinking about food, when was the last time I looked at my berry picker? Oh, a long time ago because it's been destroyed. Let's rebuild that. Oops, that was a mistake. Easy to forget about things, especially when they're far away from where you're building. I think I'll add another 2. I don't know how many really I should add, but if I add another 2 plots in here of a decent size, and then well, I'll just have to see on whether or not it's enough food. I still don't have a feeling for like how much stuff generates, and I know also that the size of the plots for the houses has an impact on how much they actually produce. I'm sure there's somebody out there, no doubt there's many people out there that already know the answer to that. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you do know how big something should be, like if there's some sort of measure for it. I don't know. But I don't have a good feeling for how big things should be yet still. I do understand though that if I move my woodcutter area around, then I get a better use out of them. Lovely. That's my 3rd region claimed, Tausenbuck. I also know that if I upgrade this to herbs, it's an additional sort of food type. I also don't know whether or not if you build a berry picker and then just upgrade it straight away to herbs, that also just suffices as a food type without having the need for berries nearby. I don't know the answer to that. So much I don't know. But I do know that I'm being attacked again, so let's go and sort them out. Ooh, this is a slightly different type of fight, isn't it? It's not just one group of 18 bandits. There's four groups of 18 there, because they always come in 18s. There they are. Yeah, that's a much more difficult fight, and if I let remnants of those get through, or if they demolish me in a fight, then they'll come and destroy my village, so I need to make sure that that doesn't happen. So, who's it going to be this time? Green caps for 90. They look good. 2 swordsmen and bowyers. Let's see. So, if I add in my own troops to that as well, we'll get everybody fighting. I might have to be a little bit strategic about how this fight goes though, because I think it's going to be tricky. I know that they're going to go for the archers first, so maybe I can do something with that. Get them to split up like this, and then maybe the archers can kind of be a decoy. Yeah, let's see if I can get that to work. Okay, so I've got the main body of the green caps, the 2 melee divisions. They've taken that first set out. The other one is being held up by my guys. I think I might just add in a green cap there. There we go, sorted. And then the other green caps, the archers, have just run around that forest and taken those other guys on a merry little journey. So they've come back into a big ambush. Worked out. I think I can disband the green caps at this point. Thank you. My militia can go home. And that gave me a huge amount of regional influence, so I can get another region. If I take Ander Dornley down here, then I'm just left with that one upper corner, which is very far away from where my settlement is. So if anybody actually spawns in there, I'll have more than enough time to prepare for a battle. Oh, and speak of the devils, there they are. I'm going to take care of those straight away as well. Brigands for hire, they only cost 30. And they're not too far away, so let's get straight on it. Winter is coming. And Ander Dornley is mine. The camp is mine. It's all mine. I don't quite have enough regional influence out of that in order to buy another territory, so let's head back to the settlement and find out what's going on with the villagers there. Well, it's winter again, and although we're low on food stocks, we're not empty. And I have 3 newcomers to the village, so I can start distributing them about a little bit. Population will rise, demand will rise, but hopefully output will also rise. So let's decide what to put into these 3 burgage plots for food. I'm thinking animals. Perhaps animals in 2, and then that larger one is vegetables. And something that I've got that I don't use at the minute is wheat. So let's add a villager to the windmill and see if we can start getting some flour made. I've got plenty, 22 available living space, so I've got a lot of room for growth there. And regional wealth is doing really very good. 117 I've amassed so far. I'll be spending that on weapons at some point. I've already been making clay here, so let's build a clay furnace because I want to upgrade my church at some point, and also I know that the clay tiles, the roof tiles, they sell pretty well in the trading post as well. Oh, tax increase. Does that trigger a tax increase when you build more buildings? I think it might. And also, I suppose if I'm going to make flour, I'm going to need some way to turn it into bread. And I think there's a bakery, communal oven. Is that the bakery? Yes, it must be the bakery. Communal oven, that can go, I think that can go next to the windmill. I don't know how relevant the distance is, but I'm going to keep it close by just in case. And then that will also add an additional food type, so I should be easily meeting all of the food requirements as long as I've got enough people working in the storehouses. I now have 4 villagers awaiting to be placed into jobs. I need to keep back a couple for building new things, but I'm going to look for somewhere. I think let's increase the efficiency of things, so let's add 1 into the hitching post there. Here it says work area is empty. Oh, it's the berry picker. Forager hut, sorry. Seems alright. It's probably because winter just ended, so that's going to take a while to replenish. Let's add a villager into the clay furnace there and get producing some tiles. And I'll upgrade this full storehouse. I'm interested to see what the upgraded church looks like. It says I need more stone for that, so let's increase the amount of stone I want ordered. And while I'm here, I know that I was exporting wheat, so let's stop doing that and let's use that instead for bread. I think bread will probably sell for more than wheat. I'm already exporting linen and wool. Looks like I've got a huge surplus of yarn, so let's export that. And let's start importing weapons again to get our stocks back up to a nice healthy place. Oh, our communal oven's finished. Let's add a villager in there and get some bread going. And I've got plenty of space in my farmhouses, so I want to really start adding people in there. That's one of the reasons that I want a large population. The farmhouses require a lot of workers, which makes sense, but I'd like to fill that up if I can. But this is going rather well. For the first time in 4 seasons, we are in a healthy and safe position. The settlement is really starting to grow and flourish. Well, maybe flourish is a strong word, but we're not doing badly, let's put it like that. I'll allow myself a measure of pride. The bandits have been driven off, the people are walking with their heads held high. Hi, Margaret. She never says hello to me. But there's a tune or two in the air, and the fields are being sown, the timber is being cut, and the murmur of the marketplace. I hear not fear, but what's that? Ambition. Yes, we're no longer a fragile outpost clinging to survival. This right here is the beginning of something greater. It's a foothold, a name, a place where the banners of Bara will be one that can fly proudly. But that's all I've got time for, dear listener. So if you have been, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. This has been Manor Lords, and I have been Lord Bara. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you fancied finding out what the villagers have to say about all of this, then feel free to pop over to my Patreon, and you can read all about it there.